Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Now, the state governments in 3 southern states, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala, have openly questioned the allocation of funds to their states under the 15th Finance Commission. In fact, Kerala Finance Minister Thomas Isaac has already called for a meeting of the Southern Finance Ministers on the 10th of April to discuss this matter. The bone of contention is the centre's proposal on the devolution of taxes between the centre and the states. The 15th Finance Commission has been told to use the 2011 census data as its parameter instead of the 1971 census data which is being used so far. The state governments in the southern states feel that the new framework would affect their interests.
9.47% of percentage total collection, total tax collection in the country. Karnataka is contributing 9.47%. out of which we are getting only 4.65.
We are highly critical of the terms of reference. These terms of reference is not in the right spirit of federalism. It will further weaken the federal structure of India and worsen the center-state fiscal imbalance. And therefore, we have decided to consult other states. It is very common for states before they prepare the memorandum, have discussions, seminars, and so on. And this time, we have decided to call the southern states, the finance ministers, the scholars, and so on. We are penalized for successfully implementing a national policy.
ఢిల్లీ నుంచి మళ్ళా 42% మనకిచ్చి 59% వాళ్ళు ఖర్చు పెట్టుకుంటున్నారు. ఇవన్నీ కూడా దక్షిణ భారతదేశంలో ఎక్కువ పన్నులు వస్తున్నాయి, కానీ డబ్బులంతా ఖర్చు పెట్టేది ఉత్తర భారతదేశంలో ఎక్కువ ఖర్చు పెడుతున్నారు.
Now, the other big national headline, Anna Hazares has launched an indefinite hunger strike at Delhi's Ramleela Maidan. This time, the social activist is fighting for 2 different causes. One, the setting up of a Lokpal in the centre and the Lokayukt in the states. And 2, the implementation of the Swaminathan Committee report, which suggests ways to deal with the ongoing agrarian crisis. Now, remember, Anna Hazares had last led protests at the Ramleela Maidan in 2011 with leaders like Arvind Kejriwal and Kiran Bedi fighting for the setting up of the Lokpal. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Reporter's Diary, but we will leave you with a story that has brought smiles to many faces. Olive Ridley turtles have returned to Mumbai's Versova beach after 2 decades. A group of volunteers who were cleaning the beach yesterday stumbled upon the turtle hatchlings making their way to the sea and helped them get across the sand. Environmentalists, politicians and citizens have since taken to Twitter to express their joy over the sighting. On that note, thank you very much for watching.
Okay, that is disturbing, Anuj, but of course we'll have to keep a wait and watch out to see if there is more consolidation headed for the Indian equity markets. But let's stick to the top story this evening. President Donald Trump's decision to impose tariffs is worrying. That's the word coming in from economics professor at Harvard and financial advisor to the Kerala government, Geeta Gopinath. Speaking exclusively to Shireen Bhawan, Geeta said that we may be at the brink of a trade war if China strongly retaliates against Trump's decision. She added that India will also be affected with this tariff imposition in the long term at least.
So I think that's consistent with how Trump has functioned, because there's always been a bit of a disconnect between what he says and what actually gets done. Though I have to say that I am worried this time. I mean, for the last year and a half, you know, we were all optimistic that because Gary Cohn was still in this part of his cabinet and that would not happen. But he seems to have phased out most of the...
including now the National Security Advisor.
That's right, exactly. Most of the pro-trade people, and he's being advised by people like Peter Navarro, who are strictly anti-trade. That I am genuinely worried about it. And the markets are clearly not factoring it in fully, but there is a higher risk of something going horribly wrong on the trade side.
So what do you believe, you know, what is it that you're most concerned about? Because China has, of course, said that they will retaliate. They've put together their own list of where they see retaliation possible. What do you believe could trigger the next round?
So the concern is that China has said that they would put in these retaliatory tariffs, so that itself triggers a trade war. The next thing that happens is they're planning to complain to the WTO about U.S. tariffs. The thing I'm most worried about is if the U.S. starts completely dismissing the whole WTO system. Once that happens, if the the sanctity and the legality of the WTO is no longer valid in the eyes of the Americans, that can lead to a huge unraveling.
Would this be the single biggest risk factor when it comes to global growth and the global recovery that has looked fairly strong?
Yes, this is rather unfortunate. This is the first year when all economies in the world have been gaining steam. And so this is an absolute game changer. If this, really turns into reality and lasts for more than 2 tweets, I think this is hugely costly to the global economy.
What could the implications be for India? Because, they have moved the WTO against us. That process will, of course, play out. He keeps bringing up the Harley-Davidson example in relation to India. What do you see are the implications for India in all of this?
I mean, the implications for India are big, just like any other country. So even if India is not a huge part of the global supply chain, if there's going to be disruption in economic growth in different parts of the world that rely more on the global supply chain, that gets disrupted by this, it's going to have an effect on the Indian economy. And so I am worried about it.